Good, good morning, Facebook Land. This is Mike George coming at you live on this foggy hump day morning on the 21st of April, 2020. Wait, no, 21st of May. 21st of May, 2026. 2025. There we go. 2020. Let's try that again. Hi, Mike George here, coming at you live from Columbus, Ohio on this beautiful hump day morning. Wednesday, the 21st of May, 2025 AD, in the non Oprah universe. It's a chilly day here, um, just just off the campus of the Ohio State University, and it's a kind of an. I always love mornings like this where it's foggy. I'll give you guys a little gander here. Looks like the little bit of fog that we had this morning is starting to lift. It's kind of just becoming now kind of just an ordinary overcast day, whatever ordinary days are anymore in the United States when it comes to weather. But I'm here at the beautiful University Square, just across High Street from the Ohio State University campus, particularly from pretty much where the Wexner Center is over there, just where you see those white columns over there, over yonder. Uh, yeah, this little University Square area here, though, has kind of become a favorite hangout spot of mine. Uh, I mean, given that it's one of the newer sort of developments that have popped up along High Street, particularly in the campus area of Columbus, it's I have to say they did a really nice job of like sort of making this a pleasant place to hang out, kind of a nice public space. One of the neat things about this space actually is that if you sort of look closely at some of the columns throughout this venue, for instance, this black one in front of me, uh, and others like it around the area, you'll notice, oh, there they are, these big speakers that are mounted on each one of them, and it's kind of cool actually. During the daytime, the venue actually plays music, pretty cool music, like pretty kind of almost the type of music I would play actually. Kind of this neat sort of ambient music. It's kind of I love it. It kind of sets a good sort of vibe to the place. Um, so yeah, I have to say, I have to kind of commend this, the city of Columbus and Ohio State University powers that be, and probably the folks from the university districts. I always forget the special improvement district folks. But yeah. Oh, speaking of which, yeah. But man, this sort of this sort of public square here is kind of I love it, and I have to say for a gathering spot that's only really existed for perhaps I don't know. I mean, hell, I don't think any longer than 4 or 5 years, probably even less than that. Uh, shit, the space has kind of become a really cool sort of congregation point for both uh, students, the folks in the Ohio State community, as well as like schlums like me who pretend they go to Ohio State, but really just use the library and other services that you know that our tax dollars pay for. So, uh, all in all, it's just a lovely space. It's kind of developed over the last couple of years. There's some kind of been an eclectic mix of shops, restaurants, and things, and retail joints around here. Kind of and a good sort of like a socioeconomic uh, sort of spread of them. You got like sort of your you kind of your cheap fast food haunts like McDonald's and Waffle House, but you also have some like nicer places like and some sort of I guess some more exotic uh, sort of shops that I'd never heard of before. Not the typical sort of not the typical sort of copy and paste chains that you see elsewhere throughout the city of Columbus. Throughout the greater city of Columbus and so forth. So let me kind of just do a little 360 of the area here, just kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. And here's my ship here. Yeah, shoot. And here's High Street right here. So this is just to kind of give you guys a vantage point here. I'm presently facing westward towards High Street and towards the university. Uh, kind of, when you get across High Street over here, you end up kind of once you pass the Wexner Center for the Arts here, you end up in the big oval, which is the large sort of open green space that is at the center of the university campus. And directly, and then on the on the opposite side of which is the Thompson Library, which you can't really see from here, but it's an 11-story building that houses the main university library of the Ohio State University. One of my favorite places, personally, to sort of hang out in and study and kind of do all my computer shit in lieu of my laptop still. Uh, so yeah, I've sort of grown to love the space over time, and like I said, it feels it feels like a very inviting space, and it feels like a very mo- modern and kind of I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, I guess modern, but sort of modern space with some nice greenery attached to it. And as you can see, now I'm facing eastward, opposite the university, and you can see that sort of green fence there, that green construction fence there, that sort of cordons off a huge construction site for what I'm imagining was going to be another one of these style of buildings, which is, I think technically, I think these buildings are technically owned by the university in some fashion, or maybe it could be some sort of partnership with with one of the big developers in the area. But they kind of made it look Ohio State-ish esque, as you can see, kind of by the by the red brickwork and the sort of red and white overall architecture and color scheme of the buildings. So I think they did a nice job of sort of popping up these new buildings without them looking like IKEA buildings, like the rest of town. And kind of having it sort of fit into the overall scheme of the campus. So kudos to the powers that be that kind of made this area happen. Uh, I guess my only gripe about it is that that they do close this park. I think at they close it at I guess 11 or 12, which I don't know. I always find it silly when they take when they take public open spaces like this and close them. I don't whatever it which effectively has the effect of basically of a lone security guard having to wander over here to the table where I'm sitting at perhaps midnight and yelling at me, and well, they're usually polite actually, and telling me to get out of the area and such. So now, to be fair, there are plenty of other areas for those who perhaps are camping overnight or maybe just hanging out after the bar and such. This place is a pretty good, I think, abundance of places to hang out and stuff if you need to. So, anyways, let's see here. It's what are we at here time wise? It is presently 8 o'clock a.m. 8 o'clock in the morning here. Let's see if I can manage to remember the date here without fucking it up again. Wednesday the 21st of May 2025. So shoot. Let me think of last couple of weeks have been kind of beh. I've been kind of continuing this prolonged quest of reacquiring all of my stolen shit from March, which, oh gosh, just thinking in my head that it's taken me like 2 months or so and running to retrieve these items of mine, including my laptop and including just, major, big dollar electronic items for myself. It's frustrating, but I guess by now I've managed to work and maintain a decent level of my productivity in some of the stupidest bullshit conditions before. So I like to think that this little 2 year sabbatical of mine, uh, adorning the streets of Columbus, New Orleans, Louisiana, and so forth, have made me quite resilient and adaptive at kind of figuring my way around some of these silly little obstacles that seem to present themselves to me every now and then, including, yes, evil cunts that steal things. So, anyways, I don't know. I don't really have too much of an update off the top of my head at the moment. So, I don't know. And also, I don't know if you guys can notice this. I feel like I keep looking. I feel like my eye contact at this post is probably kind of odd because of the camera position on this particular device that I'm talking to you guys from, which is an Amazon Fire like tablet from like 6 years ago plus, uh, in with which the camera happens to be on the side of the device, not at the top of the device, like I'm so accustomed to with like iPads and laptops and iPhones and so forth. So if you see me looking that way slightly instead of this way, it's not because I have a lazy eye. It's because I am just not looking into the correct spot for the camera. So let's see who we have on here. We have James Epstein. Hello, James. We have Dee Dee. Good morning, y'all. Happy hump day. It is a little chilly out here. I am managing to kind of wear a t-shirt out, but I would say only in the last half hour have I been able to kind of take off my sweater and feel comfortable here. So, uh, yeah, it continues to be sort of a mild yet sort of up and down pattern when it comes to the weather here in Columbus in mid-May. We have had a couple hot days. Hot meaning 20, maybe perhaps 25 and above. That's 80 Fahrenheit, I think. um, but all in all, I mean, shoot, I can't really complain too much about the weather here. We've had some pretty had some short bursts of thunderstorms and such that have kind of rolled through the area in the last 2 weeks, but nothing really on the order of what they've had south and west of us, or hell, even west and north of us, as far as a lot of tornado activity and severe weather systems and such. At least I've managed to avoid them firsthand in the last few days. So, uh, special shout out goes to the individuals who have graciously housed me on some of these occasions and have been wonderful hosts as far as just hanging out with me and kind of, you know, rolling our usual shenaniganery. Yeah, and then it's been a decent couple of weeks. You know, as I sort of continue to climb out of this gaping hole that was left for me in the aftermath of my 39th birthday back in March. So, you know, as I often say, onward ho, comma, option. So let's see, what the hell else is going on? Oh yeah, and I'm kind of putting the finishing touches on the Street Smart app that I've sort of been working on in the last few years. Gosh, it's kind of surreal to think that I've been working for years on this project, but you know, I guess a lot of the time lately has been more so kind of fine tuning the app and kind of just making some little adjustments and changes, kind of based on user feedback, based on my own user experience, just kind of trying to make things more user friendly, more intuitive, more easy, and dumbass proof for users and such. So all in all, like this little, you know, this recent little, when I say recent, you know, last 2 years or so, this sort of this series of projects that I've been working on as far as mobile phone apps, it's been fun. It's been kind of a nice, almost kind of throwback to a lot of my programming days. You know, doing C++ and Java and all that jazz. It's been kind of nice to kind of be able to revisit some of those things and kind of, you know, I've looked at this app development activity of mine in the last few years as pretty fun and I think hopefully useful skills building exercise for me, kind of in my in my career, but also just in life, I guess. I find the ability to do this type of work super useful. I mean, presently I have 4 apps out there that exist. Um, the first of which was the Street Smart app that I started when I was in New Orleans a couple of years ago. And then some of the other apps I think that I've maybe discussed on here before. I have a little smoke tracker app, which is a simple little app that just enables me and enables you perhaps if you decide to download it and check it out. Basically, it kind of gives a real simple way to just log every single cigarette that I smoke, every single doobie that I smoke or bong hit that I take. It's sort of my way to kind of just keep track of all of those little sins that I commit um, over time, just to kind of keep myself accountable, but also kind of track and kind of trend if there's a if there's a sort of basically to be able to identify trends of concern. For instance, if I go from smoking 1 cigarette a week to 1 cigarette a day to a pack a day, for instance. But it's really easy. I think it's really easy in those types of habits, especially extended over several weeks or months or whatnot. It's easy. I think, as a lot of us know, a lot of us smokers know, in particular, it's easy for those types of habits to kind of gradually and sort of under our radar kind of get you know worse and worse and worse if we're not really aware of it. So it was my little way of kind of making myself aware, accountable, and it's not really I didn't really make this app to quit smoking, but it's more so kind of just it's kind of more so a resistor that I'm putting into the circuit, if you will, as far as my own habits are concerned, to make it slightly less desirable for me to pick up that next cigarette. Knowing that if I do, I have to go through the work of logging it down and all that jazz, and kind of and potentially breaking some sort of streak I might have going for me as far as multiple days in a row without having picked up a cigarette. So, and on the, and the results, shit. If I'm gonna toot my own horn a little bit on the effectiveness of the app, I mean, I haven't picked up a cigarette in probably a couple of weeks. Of course, I have a vape, so that's only part of the story, I guess. And hell, even my weed usage is probably like, shoot, I would say my average weed smoking is down to about like I would say an average of once a day, as compared to like 8 times a day in my previous years following grad school and such. So, but all in all, I'm just kind of proud. I'm proud of the app. I think it looks nice. It's easy. I think it's intuitive. Uh, but of course, I'm the guy who made it. So of course I'm going to think that. So I invite you guys to check those apps out for yourself. I don't know if I even put the website up on this particular broadcast, but perhaps I will later. But actually, on the subject of the website, my website, ohmg.xyz, it is unfortunately down at the moment. So I owe the money men some money, particularly for the hosting of the website, and I'm kind of basically it's gone as far as them taking down the site temporarily. So basically, I'm at the point where I need to ask you guys, you out there, Dee Dee, James, Facebook Land et al., for some money, if you wish. I always hate to think of these as handouts. I think of them as paying me for the time and labor spent, first of all, developing these apps. The first of which, is the Street Smart app, which I sincerely believe is delivering impact and helping individual users out. Particularly friends of mine that are on the streets also, as by design. But yeah, I'm very proud of that one, and I hope that maybe some of you guys who are perhaps thinking about sliding a few bucks over to me, think of it as paying for my diligent hard work and my amazingness at developing these wonderful little apps. And like I said, I think they're pretty goddamn awesome. Of course, I'm going to say that, but I mean, I am biased because I made the app, but I made all these apps. But on the other hand, I'm also a very OCD little cunt. So I don't give compliments that don't have merit. You know, my mother never told. She taught me never give a compliment that is not true. And that's the Asian way, right? And on the flip side, we love giving our candor, whether you're asked for it or not, and oftentimes in front of other people. So I like to say I like to deliver compliments, but I also like to deliver shame when deserved. So the sword swings both ways, as always, right, kids? Um, but shoot, what else is going on? Well, hell, you guys, let me give you guys an opportunity to speak here on this wonderful little 8 o'clock hour of Wednesday morning. What's on your guys' minds as you're rolling off over to work or to further shenaniganery? Shoot, let me actually turn the camera around and show you guys this. Show you guys some of the flowers and stuff. It's beautiful. Ah, love the gardening that they've done here, actually. And hell, throughout the whole city, really. I mean, gosh, a lot of the flowers here just throughout the city have been just marvelous to kind of enjoy, especially as somebody on the streets who's on the streets probably a bit more time out of the day than the average person. But yeah, it's a pretty day outside, despite the overcastness. But hell, I like that it's kind of giving a slight sort of foggy hue to the day. So, hmm, we live in a beautiful city, don't we? I try to remember that and not take those things for granted if I can. Shit, you guys are quiet. I guess that's what I get for coming on Facebook Live here on some ungodly hour of the morning, huh? And I haven't even had my coffee yet. So, what's your guys' excuse for being so quiet, huh? Hmm. Oh, shit. I guess while you guys are finding your keyboards and finding your opinions and finding your coffee, I guess I'm gonna sit my ass down and organize my thoughts, and then just stare at you all judgmentally. Here we go. Oh, that was so awkward dance of trying to get the chair. Fuck it. The chairs here are all like strapped down, so it's like a fucking puzzle to try to like arrange the chairs where you want them. Because if you move one chair, you have to move the other chairs that they're all strapped to. I'll show you what I mean. See, apparently they did not want people running off with these chairs. And to be fair, they're pretty damn light, so. Well, also I guess the wind really. I'd hate to see. I mean, these chairs are not very heavy, but they're definitely heavy enough to, if they smack you in the face with in tune with a 15 mile per hour plus wind, I would imagine that would hurt pretty bad. So, hmm. Yeah, shoot. I guess to make most efficient use of my time, I'm gonna wander over to the Thompson Library, get my day started here a little bit. So you guys will have to excuse me for a moment as I gather my themes, starting with the first. Good morning, Nicole. Nice to see your face popping in. How are you doing, Nicole? Happy Hump Day. Ah, Nicole, I'm on your old stopping grounds, the Ohio State University. So I don't know how long it's been since you've been on campus, Nicole. Uh, Shoot, if it's been a few years, then yeah, you've probably been on campus at least in the last year. So you probably know a little bit of what this area looks like now, but it's totally transformed from the era where when you were in school here, I'm sure, starting with the Ohio Union down there. So yeah, I have to say, for all the I remember the years when I was an undergrad. Now, mind you, I did not go to Ohio State University. I did not go to the Ohio State University for my undergrad. I went to Wright State over in Dayton. However, if you guys might recall, my ex boyfriend, my very first boyfriend, was an Ohio State student, so I did get to sort of wander around the campus a little bit back in the 2005 era. And yeah, I remember a lot of shit being under construction during that time. The old Ohio Union had been torn down, and they were building a new one right next to it. The Thompson Library was closed, I believe, for renovations. What else? Those are the two major things I believe that were sort of not here. That I think the students kind of unfortunately sort of lost out on as far as venues. But I mean, Ohio State's a pretty big school, so I imagine they were pretty. I imagine they were pretty nimble about sort of temporarily moving those services and such to other buildings and so forth. Um, but hell, let me continue getting my things together here, and we'll take a little walk over to the Thompson Library of the Ohio State University. I think I've only done a couple Facebook Live posts in the past on campus, and if I recall correctly, I think a lot of them have been kind of meh quality wise because of issues with Wi-Fi mainly and such. But hopefully, we'll see. It's 2025 after all. One can only hope that we've achieved the basics of wide area Wi-Fi right by now, huh? Especially if Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk are gonna be spying on our asses all the time with all our bullshit that we're posting on these things, right? Right. Set my themes here. Shit. Still getting used. Like I got a new wallet. This giant ass thing is a wallet. It's like twice the size, more than twice the size of my old wallet. So I'm kind of getting used to just like the the awkward bulkiness of it. And then I got this cute little. I found this. Oh my gosh! I stumbled upon a garage sale in German Village. It didn't have like a lot of things, but the things that they had were just all wonderful. Like they had all kinds of arts and crafts. I mean, basically the woman who had the garage sale. I think it was her mother that was selling a lot of these things. But gosh, it had some of the most fascinating things in this garage sale, including like, oh shit, let me think here now. Uh, well, yeah, including this trapper keeper, this little mini trapper keeper, the little and my gosh, this brings me back to the days of high school, middle school, and such when I used to obsess over the trapper keepers. And I mean, honestly, I still kind of obsess over office supplies in very similar regard, perhaps with a little bit more sophistication than before. I like to think, but yeah, they had this garage sale had let me think here. It had oh shit, now I'm blanking here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they had this cute little my cute little communist star that I that I picked up from there, and kind of. I was actually trying to put the star on my hard hat at first, but it was slightly too big, and it's made of metal, and so the points of the star are actually pretty goddamn sharp. And so when I was trying, when I was originally mounting the star onto the front of the hard hat, where basically my name is right now. Um, but it ended up kind of having these sharp edges, particularly on the top corner of the star, sticking straight up. It was basically just waiting to stab somebody, probably me. Um, so I decided to instead mount it flat on this thing, and so that therefore we don't have any sharp corners sticking out at this time. OSHA would be pleased. So, anyways, now that I have gathered my things, let's take a little walk, shall we? It's too bad. It's too bad I don't have Wanda with me to play some accompaniment music. But then again, as we know, as I think a lot of us know, that it would only trigger the ire of copyright Karen taking down my music from this Facebook Live post and, you know, just ruining everything. So, onward to campus. I guess I can always add music later in the post, right? Oh, yeah, and recycling bin. I've been noticing fewer and fewer recycling bins throughout Columbus, which has been a little bit sad and frustrating. But just here in the Ohio State area, they managed to maintain their level of giving a fuck. Yeah, just gotta wait for the light to change here. Right now, I'm crossing. I think this is 15th and High. Yeah. So I'm at 15th Avenue and High Streets, just to kind of give y'all some reference, especially if you guys did go to Ohio State at one time and perhaps don't recognize this campus anymore. Let's see. I'll walk over to the West. I'll walk to the Western Center and do this. It's a nice little approach to the university here. It's a lovely time of year as well, because this is right after the youngins I think have graduated, the undergrads. I think this is pretty much the start of summer break, or perhaps maybe the second week or so of the summer break here at Ohio State. So as you can see, there's like very few people around campus. It does feel like I had this big, wonderful campus to myself in a way, without all those obnoxious undergrads rummaging around. I'm just kidding. The Wexner Center for the Arts. Yeah, this is sort of one of the main. This is one of the primary performance venues for the university, and nowadays it sort of contains like the music school and some of the other fine arts and performing arts programs that the Ohio State University has offering. All right, we're just coming to the other side of the Wexner Center. We're walking westward into the Oval. Oh man, it's just gorgeous outside today. That grass looks so green today. And there's one of those little food delivery robots. Those things always kind of hark my undergrad days when we had my senior project in undergrad at Wright State was actually to build a robotic lawnmower. So I mean, it kind of has similar. I guess has similar look, kind of similar profile there on four wheels and kind of waist high or so, except obviously with blades at the bottom instead of food at the top. So here we go into the center of the oval. Give me some stars, damn it. Shit, just messing, guys. Oh, I guess if you would be so inclined, stars would be nice. Dollar bills would be nicer. Oh, and there's the Thompson Library right in the background, shrouded in that fog. Oh, that's gorgeous. I love that. I love this overall sort of mist that's kind of slowly lifting off of the campus. Gosh, couldn't really ask for better weather today. Oh man, it continues to make me sad that I don't have Wanda with me. And I mean, admittedly, it is kind of nice to like have a low profile because I mean, yeah, obviously when I carry Wanda with me, I'm pretty. It makes me stick out like a sore thumb amongst the God fearing citizens of the Ohio State University. But it is also just nice to be able to play my mornings playlist. It's taken me a few weeks to kind of get over losing Wanda for like the third time. It seems I think this is in the last year. It never gets easy. It's like every time that happens, especially when it's. Anyways, I'm already triggering myself thinking about it now, so I'm obviously not completely over it. But well, as I've mentioned on previous broadcasts, I hold the staff at the Columbus Convention Center responsible for the loss of Wanda. So therefore, I have taken the liberty to, well, let's just say I have taken the liberty of claiming new belongings of mine from them in the form of power tools. Power tools, electronics, and what else? What else have I stolen from that goddamn convention center? Well, hopefully more things, until I get Wanda, recovered. So, and, I know this is a public post, but I think it deserves to be said out loud publicly that, yes, I am breaking and entering into the Columbus Convention Center. And yes, I am continuing to acquire wonderful new power tools and things that did not previously belong to me, complimentary of my 5 fingers, what we call the 5-finger discounts, right? And no, I feel no shame whatsoever about it at all. Like I said, they fuck with me and they fuck with Wanda. Well, that basically gives me carte blanche to fuck with them as long as it takes until I get my shit back. Until they make it happen. And I don't think they're going to make it happen. So therefore, I'm giving myself a blank check just to continuously rob them. Of course, got to be strategic about it. I'm not going to be just going in there every day and taking shit. I have to, you got to be a little under the radar. You don't want them to have their guard up. You want them to be able to you want them to be complacent enough to leave their shit out willy-nilly for my taking. So I've been doing I think I've done 2 major trips there, and on each of those trips I've acquired at least $100 worth of items from them. So I'm proud to say that I've made up for the loss of Wanda as far as monetary value goes, at least twice over. So I guess in a way I profited from this, if you want to look at it like that. But however, I continue to not have Wanda, so therefore I'm still pissed and still quite active in my revenge campaign against those fuckers. I still do have to write the extremely bitchy email that's in my drafts box that's going to be going to their operations director and their fucking, manager, the director of the convention center, whoever the hell runs that shit show. So, hi, Billy Thompson. What's up? All right. We are approaching now the Thompson Library. And Oliver Glory. Hear the church bells ringing. That must mean it's. I don't know what that means. It was just 8 o'clock before, but we'll say it's 8:30, I guess now, huh? Thompson Library. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Now I think I am gonna. There's probably gonna be nobody in here at all, but I'm still gonna respect the quiet. Well, I'm gonna not be a loud obnoxious bitch. We'll say. How about that? Welcome, y'all, to the Thompson Library. Hi, Mr. Thompson again. Oh, looks like you're doing some construction or renovation work on the second floor, as you can see there with that white shroud kind of covering up the construction zone. I'm gonna take these stairs up to my favorite little computer kiosk. Oh snap! I can't go up these stairs. Damn it! That's a shame. If I take the elevator, I'm definitely gonna lose reception. I'll probably lose connection with you guys. So what to do? What to do? So we have to go up some of the side stairwells here. My earphone just fell out of my head. Oops. So sorry if you could hear a bunch of gobbledygook on the audio feed. Oh, wow, it's dark. I can stare at it. Dark. Or maybe it's because I'm wearing my sunglasses still. Ah, troisième étage. Oh, view the stacks there. That little glassed-in part area of the library is called the stacks, which is essentially the footprint of the main part of the tower, which continues up the remaining 7 stories up to the 11th floor. Otherwise, most of this area, including where I'm standing, right underneath is mainly 4 stories, kind of the base of the library, as compared to the as opposed to the central tower. All right, let's plump down here at this computer terminal here. Actually, I'm gonna keep this rolling because I do want to show you guys one more area of the library. It's just I think this board is and that is its reading room. In fact, you know what? That might be on the second floor. That might be one of the things that they're renovating. I just don't think of it. But nonetheless, I do have to walk over to the circulation desk to one of the fine folks, one of the fine librarians here, and acquire a guest login for these computers so I can use it. let's see if I can peek into this reading room. The reading room I think is in the second story. I'm on the third, but I think it is sort of a two-story room, with like in which is the balcony for. So let's see if I'm correct here. Oh yeah, it looks like, oh wow, they must be working on that reading room specifically. Damn. Oh, well, so I guess I won't be able to show that particular area of the library off, but that's okay. Leave something to look forward to for next time, right? Oh wow. Oh, it looks like they got a bunch of new tables lined up with those lamps and stuff. That must be what they're installing, I guess, on that second floor, huh? I guess at least. Oh, these must be the various Ohio State presidents over time. Huh. Yeah, okay, so since I can't show you guys the reading room at the moment, I'll just go ahead and kind of transition out here. Show you what nice little view from the third story down to the first floor of the atrium of the Thompson Library at the Ohio State University. And that's kind of looking up out of the skylight onto that central tower for the remaining stories up to the 11th floor reading room. So, it's always a treat to show off this gorgeous space, and even more so to be able to use it. So thank you to the OSU libraries for making this wonderful space available to Joe Schmoes like me / tax-paying citizens of the state of Ohio, tax-paying residents of the state of Ohio, I should say. So, anyways, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, happy hump day. Hope you guys are enjoying a wonderful little morning wherever you are. This has been Mike George coming at you live from the Ohio State University's Thompson Library. You guys have a marvelous day. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. Toodaloo.